Hello everyone. So I'm doing this video by request, and I've got one more that I'll do tomorrow. But this is on, I'm going to say, dealing with high anxiety and depression. And the first thing I would tell you, it's a work in progress. I have definitely had anxiety myself. I know I've told this story on here before, but number of years ago, probably 6, maybe 7 years ago. Hey, Connie, great to see you. I all of a sudden so a couple events happened in a row, and I was bam in the throes of anxiety. And I'm working with people tapping, and that's why I believe in being very forthright about our own struggles with that. And I was tapping constantly. And I will tell you, and I'm not saying this to be discouraging whatsoever, but it was pretty much 6 months of that seems to be my number, pretty straight on tapping for sure. And all of a sudden, through all that, a memory came up that had to do with my father. And my father was pretty epic at giving the silent treatment. And he could do it for days. And so I had this memory come up when I was little, and I talked back to him. And he didn't talk to me for days. I mean, days. This is a setup that's been in me for a long time. I kept apologizing to him to try to get him to talk to me, even though I really didn't do anything wrong, because I say talk back to him, I was questioning what he was telling me, because I was like not in agreement with it. And I was a pretty young kid, and back then they weren't really big on having that, you question them. So long and short of it, he didn't like that at all. He didn't talk to me for days on end, and it felt like death to me. And I believe that's probably one of my initial setups for just high anxiety. That's the memory that came up, and I tapped through it. It was super emotional. I was tapping through it. But at the end of it, it was like, whoa, all of a sudden, I was free. Now, I will tell you, I still have situational anxiety that comes up, but I know how to deal with it. The key is the acceptance of self for it. So, and to me, to know it's a work in progress, and the key is, are you judging yourself for it? Do you tell yourself you shouldn't be having this anxiety or this depression? So, let's tap, karate chop. Even though I struggle with high anxiety and depression, and I bet if I look at it, I'm totally judging myself, I choose to honor my truth right now. Even though I really struggle with high anxiety, and then I plunge into depression, I bet I'm judging myself. I choose to honor this truth right now. Even though I hate having this anxiety and this depression, as weird as it sounds, what if I could practice making that okay? Go to the eyebrow. This high anxiety, and I hate it. I'm in such resistance to it. I hate feeling it. I hate dealing with either of them. I wish they would both just go away. But they're not just going away. So what if there's information in this for me? Something I need to attend to. What if I can hack anxiety and hack depression by actually going into them in a safe and healthy way? Get whatever support I need so that I'm not going it alone. And if ever there's a time to feel supported, that's it. When I deal with anxiety and depression. Oh, you bet, Denise. Going into the anxiety, exploring it. What does it have to tell me? How is it trying to help me? Going into the depression, actually honoring it. And what if by going into it, with the support I need, I get to the other side of it. And then instead of resisting it and judging myself for having it, I see it in a whole new way. And what if that changes everything? So take a breath. So I would tap through that as many times as you need to. And high anxiety and depression, I would highly, highly, highly recommend. That's why I'm not going to do a super deep dive here. Is to get help, get support. Get support. I would highly encourage you to tap with someone, to work with someone, to see a therapist, whatever works for you. But to know that you have that support. I mean, I was tapping. I can get myself to a pretty good place tapping, but it's always better when I'm working with someone. And I'm working with someone right now because of some things that have come up. And I love knowing that I have that support, every week to work through that. And I know how much it's helping. But what I did back then is I just tapped every single day. Sometimes I would use guided videos, on that just to go into it. But the reason I say, especially with high anxiety and depression, it's really important to have the support is so that you feel safe in going into it. You might not even feel safe necessarily going into it, but if you know you have support, then it's easier in a difficult situation to go into it knowing that you have someone that's got another set of ears and eyes that can guide you through it. And I highly recommend it. That's why I personally wouldn't do a ton of deep dive anxiety and depression videos on here, because I just think it requires more of that personal attention. And that way, if you're triggered, you got the safety net to go, I'm not on my own. I'm not alone here. I've got somebody supporting me that can get me to the other side of it. That is so important to know. It's muy importante to know that you have that support. But the first key that I would say is to tap on, am I judging myself for this? Do I tell myself I shouldn't deal with this? Do I make myself wrong for it? Here I am, 6-7 years ago. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this anxiety was so intense. It felt like it never left me. And it was with me, I think I said 6 months. For sure it was 3, probably into 6. But I was tapping. And I just had to go through the layers until that one memory, and it's different for everyone. It doesn't mean the one memory is going to do it for it, but this one significant memory came up. And I was just like, whoa. And it was the root, I believe, of where the anxiety started for me, is to just be so absolutely rejected by the person that's supposed to protect you, care for you, support you. And when that triggers in me now, I still can go there like a moth to the flame, but I catch it sooner. I might go down the rabbit hole, but I get out of the rabbit hole sooner. And sometimes I have those magical moments where I'm like, oh, okay, that's not about me. I don't have to personalize that. That's magical for me. It's not like I personalize stuff all the time still, but it just is better. And I know that I'm getting more emotionally fit about it. So, let's see, Rhonda, Denise, Connie, great to have you here live. And then I'll be back here tomorrow with, and maybe even in a few minutes with one more. I think I actually might do it now. So, see you in a few. Bye.